This week's episode of Hastly Kayfabed Recap is brought to you by Pastamania. Coming back for a limited time only in select locations probably far away from you. Pastamania. So you get that Hulk Hogan taste in your mouth.
No niggers allowed, brother.
Welcome.
I think that's to a particular clientele.
Oh boy. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hello.
Ninja's trapped in the airport but still here. John
Actually,
here.
I'm not trapped at the airport.
Oh, you escaped.
Here's the situation in a nutshell. They canceled once. I got the email at 8. First, it was delayed. I didn't notice it. And then I got the later flight. I was about to leave to go to the airport. It got delayed. And then, not even 30 minutes later, it got delayed until midnight. And I just straight up said, if this airline is having it this bad, I can't imagine having me going trying to come back. So I've cut my losses and just said, I'm cutting the flight. And I had to apologize to my dad for having this whole thing. And I did talk to him about that. And while he was disappointed it happened, and I feel disappointed that this whole thing happened. Note to self, never go on Spirit Airlines.
Still better than United. Still better than United.
Can I say something real quick?
No. United's better than Spirit.
Go ahead, John.
Quick. You know, I'm kind of pissed off right now, a little bit.
When are you not pissed off, John?
I was expecting, a nice quiet show.
When do we ever have a nice quiet show?
A nice quiet show with no fucking bullshit. And now this fucking faggot is on the show when I was expecting him not to be. Who couldn't get up the money to buy a legitimate airline ticket, and he wonders why his flight got canceled.
Like I said, it's still better than United. At least,
next time, pony up the money and buy a real airline ticket.
Because at least now we know he won't be doing this episode from the hospital.
Like JetBlue.
Isn't that even worse than Spirit?
I don't know. Every time I take in JetBlue, I never had a fucking problem.
Oh boy! Shall we get to the news, gentlemen?
Oh yeah, I haven't even checked the news.
including the first death knell of TNA as usual. But first, let's talk about everything else.
Well, let's start with it because I was the only one who wrote all this shit in here. Let's start off with something fun. First of all, as we all know, based on what happened on SmackDown, we know that are the greatest of all time, the GOAT, who has now put out a new shirt, Chris Jericho, has been written off of TV. Why? Because he's going on a tour with Fozzy. Fozzy has just released a new video on YouTube for their new song Judas, which, by the way, has an interesting cameo from Adam Rose's Bunny Rabbit.
Wait, the bunny?
The bunny is in the video. I'm not sure if it's the bunny, but there is a guy in a bunny suit in the video.
Why?
And it's pretty close.
Because the bunny's more over than Adam Rose.
Afraid so. It's the rest of this is just kind of like what and oh man. Let's start with the what. Billy Corgan has bought the National Wrestling Alliance.
In other news, Dixie.
All I'm gonna say is this about that. I said it a million times. I said it before, even before this was even a thing. If anyone can revive the NWA, it's Billy Corgan.
Revive it to what is the question?
Revive it to the point where it's actually bigger than Impact Wrestling right now.
Well,
if he gets off the ground with this, Impact is done.
Oh sure.
And
but
he's
the
going to
question.
offer better salaries. He's going to offer better opportunities. Because Billy, if he bought the NWA, he's going to be wanting to work with the bigger independent feds. He's going to be wanting to work with WrestlePro. He's going to be wanting to work with fucking Championship Wrestling from Hollywood or PWG or fucking Chikara.
And that's going to portray an interesting, possible, an actual real wrestling rivalry between WWE.
CCW, fuck those assholes.
I'm about to say between WWE and and NWO I was about to say, and the NWA.
Well,
What they seriously need to do, the first thing they need to do, is they need to take the fucking NWA belt off that 50-year-old that nobody knows anything about.
Who's the NWA champion?
Tim Storm.
Who? Oh, James Storm.
Tim Storm.
He's
no,
still
Tim
wrestling.
Storm.
Oh, Tim Storm.
Tim Storm. At which point, the proper response to that is who?
Exactly.
Exactly. Just know he's a 50-year-old guy holding a prestigious belt, apparently.
Well, the only 50-year-old guy that should be holding the NWA World Championship, in my opinion, is Dan Severn. But because he can still stretch people. But if Corgan can set up the necessary connections between each of the independent federations that can use, say, television, that can use trade talent, because as far as I'm concerned, ROH is off the table. As far as I'm concerned, Impact Wrestling is off the table. But you could definitely establish relations across the rest of it. It's never going to be the NWA of old, and I think Billy Corgan hopefully realizes that, because if he leaves, then the NWA goes back to the same problem it always has. Nobody knows who's going to get coffee. And I think that if handled correctly, I agree with John. We could definitely see a resurgence of the NWA to where the Owl will have different problems than what it had,
Well, okay.
or what it has right now.
I'm gonna prove my point right now. Okay. Now, the last time the NWA title actually meant anything, even a shred of actual prestige, was when the feud with Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana. The best of 7. And that was in 2012. Okay? Let's see who's held the NWA belt since then. And you could tell me if you actually gave a shit or even heard any of these fucking people. Cahagas, Rob Conway, twice.
Okay.
Well, I've actually heard of Rob. Well, I've actually heard of Rob Conway.
But still, the fact that they put a world title on Rob Conway twice.
I think they probably had to at that point.
They probably had those stars. Go ahead.
Satoshi Kojima.
Right, it went over to Japan again.
Hiroshi Tenzan.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Stane and Tim Storm.
That's right. Adam Cole was NWA champion before 2012. That's right. Never mind.
So yeah.
Now the question is, and this is a good question that I'd like to pose. If the NWA goes into that certain area, will the NWA have the traveling champions that they had?
It should.
And if there are traveling champions, are they beholden to the National Wrestling Alliance, or are they beholden to the promotion which they belong to?
That I would have no idea.
And that's kind of the problem that happened with Mid-Atlantic, was that when Ric Flair became the world champion, almost all the prestige went to Mid-Atlantic.
Well, apparently, the only reason that Ric Flair got the belt, according to Honky Tonk Man,
well,
is
yeah,
because
but
he's bankrupting the territory.
You just said the key words, according to Honky Tonk Man.
well,
I love me some Wayne Ferris, but take everything he says with a grain of salt.
And by the way, watching Wayne Ferris on Mid-South Wrestling, I have never ever seen a bleach blonde Wayne Ferris. This is long before he was the Honky Tonk Man, but he did have the hair. He did actually have the hair. But there's only one other guy that would actually agree with that, and that's Ole Anderson. And we all know good old Ole.
Oh yeah.
But
If you
that's
look
funny.
up,
That's-
if you look up bitter old bastard in the dictionary, Ole Anderson's picture will be right there.
and Oli, the thing about Oli that I managed to run into one of the things of one of his shoot interviews. One, he said that Ric Flair was the champion of nothing when he left the WWE because the belt didn't. Because
wasn't true.
I'm sorry.
That wasn't true, actually.
Well, I know that he was the world champion.
If you guys, here's a quick history lesson. If you guys remember, the fucking, I don't think the NWA actually stripped Flair of the belt until like November or December
Yeah,
of '91. So technically, for the first couple months Flair was in WWE, he was still the NWA champion.
So
Yeah.
those Bobby Heenan promos were legit when he said the real world champions.
I mean, I can find out real quick.
right. Now, in Oli's opinion, the problem with that was that the championship belt, in terms of a territory, didn't mean anything for him. He wanted Flair out of the territory, as he liked Flair as a world champion because he could get him out of the territory without killing the territory, because he worked the same match all the time. Now, I'm not sure if that's so true, but that's another thing that we can talk about a little later on, because there was something else that I saw that I wanted to talk about, but I have to remember what it was.
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, Flair got stripped of the NWA title in September of '91.
Yeah.
Which would be what, 2 months after the WCW already stripped him.
Pretty much.
I think so, and that was around the time, that was a little after SummerSlam.
Because
So.
I was saying, no, he made his debut around the SummerSlam, yeah.
Yep.
Which is why whenever he ran around with the title belt on shows, on televised shows, it was actually the one of the tag team belts.
I actually went to one of those garden shows. I still remember that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Because I remember being fucking 5 years old and asking my godmother, I'm like, why the hell is he holding up the tag belt?
So
Her stern answer, I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. I agree. I wouldn't know either. Speaking of things that we don't know what's going on, sort of, Bailey was injured at Raw the other day. Now, before you guys go nuts about it, is it a bad shoulder injury? No. Is it a neck injury? Sort of. Is it is it game breaking? No. What she got was a really, really bad scratch.
Really?
I mean, it was deep though. It was deep.
Ah. Well, like
It was deep.
Well, like broke skin blood scratch?
Pretty close. There's actually there's actually a picture of it. It was probably a chop gone wrong is what probably happened. It was probably somebody's fingernail that
I'm
went
trying to
into
look
it.
for it right now.
It was actually on Wrestle Talk, so that I can actually confirm the picture. Now that's right. There's one other piece of news that I didn't put up here, but let's start with this one first. Line up the next guy for DDP Yoga, folks. Sean Waltman has been arrested.
I was actually going to make a DDP Yoga joke, but you beat me to it. Go ahead.
Actually,
for meth and pot possession.
Go ahead, John.
Oh,
I got something to say about that, actually, that really pisses me off about that. No, I'm not trying to say Waltman's innocent or anything, because we all know he's not. I mean, he was caught with drugs.
Right.
Whether he was holding it for a friend or whatever the fuck, he's still caught with drugs. The problem I have is with the officer, because the officer, it's been publicly stated that the reason they charged him with intent to sell was just because Waltman had $700 on him at the time, and because he had such a large quantity of pills on him. But if you look at exactly, so basically it's pure speculation, and that's why they charged him with intent to sell. Now, if you look at the pills, like if you look at the list of what they caught him with, it's not that much. And the cop actually said, "Oh well, that not, a normal person would not be able to take all that in a day." But have they ever been around professional wrestlers?
Oh boy.
I mean, look at the list of what they caught him with. A fucking wrestler could easily take all of that in a single day, much less a weekend. And the cop
There's
is
a reason
sitting
for it.
there- And the cop is sitting there. Oh well, one person can't take. So basically, because of one cop's assumption, he's getting booked for fucking intent to sell. And you know what happens when you assume something?
You make an ass out of you and me?
Mm-hmm.
That teacher actually taught me that.
Now you know what's another thing I learned tonight. Speaking of which,
What's that?
what section does the family from Newark sit at a basketball game?
The bleachers?
Section 8.
Oh
Oh
gosh.
god. That was
So-
cringe.
So there was one other piece of news that I did forget to put in here.
Yes, go.
And what it was there was a picture posted by Titus O'Neil
Oh, this one.
that had several wrestlers on a trip to Italy. Now, I mean, people post pictures on a trip to Italy,
You have
and then that's fine. You know, people can hang out. Except that two of those people are the currently kayfabed injured Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Yep, and I saw that picture and just like, Titus,
Now,
did you have a brain fart?
now the picture has been since taken down very quickly.
Or so you think.
And now remember,
it's the internet. Once it's up forever.
it's up forever, yeah. But it's been taken down. It's actually been taken down pretty quickly. However, Titus has had heat backstage before, particularly with a shoulder. What was it? Was it a shoulder into Vince, or was it physically picking up Vince that got him in trouble? I forget
He was
which one.
trying to get Vince to move out of the way for one of the females and
For Steph.
For Stephanie.
Yeah, but Vince ain't going to move for anybody. That's just him.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But still, he's going to get heat for this backstage. But it did bring up an interesting question, and I want people to think about. It before we, while we go through what happened this week in wrestling, which is almost forgettable. Actually, no,
Oh,
it was actually.
we started to
Nothing
do payback
there.
first. We had one
I thought-
thing. We had one major thing that happened, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the question is, how should kayfabe be handled in the modern day and age? Because I've heard arguments on both sides, including my non-certified apologist version of Jim Cornette, which I could actually agree with to a point. So just something to think about as we go through all of our shit. And let me start off with, in terms of payback, by saying I should have picked Alexa Bliss. I was going to pick Alexa Bliss.
You still won. You just tied with Reed.
I was going to pick Alexa Bliss.
Huh?
Oh, fucking hell.
So this means that Reed and Will gets to pick the topic for May.
Can we do separate topics?
It's gonna be a guide on how to do butt stuff.
I thought that'd be something you'd be completely and totally interested in, John, after all.
No, not me, dude. I will say an interesting piece of news that I was interested in.
What's that?
Charlotte has some nice titties.
Oh, forgot to mention that too. Yeah, Charlotte's nudes have been leaked. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing I will say, and I've seen them. Just a bit lopsided. that's all I have to say.
So
And
they're natural.
Exactly. That's good.
Exactly.
and I mean,
It shows.
I'm gonna add a couple of things to that. There've been a lot of comments about the shit that's been going about that particular set of leaks, and they're actually against her body type. and it's just like she was a personal trainer. She
Trainer.
used to do this kind of stuff for a living, and now this is being augmented by her wrestling. Okay, it's definitely not the
By the way,
model or
there's
super.
breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, Victoria's nudes just also got leaked.
Yeah, well,
And I'm looking, I'm looking at it right now. Dude, you can see her boyfriend, like I think it's her boyfriend or her husband,
I think she's
actually
married.
eating her out in some of the pictures.
I was going to say probably your boyfriend now, because I know she divorced her last husband from Chicago, unless these are old.
And the best picture is one with her with this goofy look on her face with a dick in her mouth.
Yeah, she likes doing that shit. Go for it, man.
well.
I got no problem with that. No problem with that. But
yeah, her nudes are leaked, so go get them.
so we're still waiting on a bunch of others, I suppose.
Oh boy!
but
Before we turn this into a Triple X episode,
but yeah, like I say, body type.
by the time she looks like an Amazon, so what do you expect?
Especially
Who fucking cares?
We're just too young to look at this stuff.
No, we just don't want to get pulled from YouTube for
That's
posting
also
it.
true. Well, we are.
Yeah,
we are,
let's
we
not
are
post
posting
it.
shit. We are posting shit. So anyway, Payback.
Payback.
What the fuck did we watch?
I don't know.
I had no idea. It was alright until one specific match, but we will get to that.
All I'm going to say is this. For the first time ever,
Uh-oh.
for the first, and it's been around for 17 years, for the first time ever, WrestleCrap actually did not wait to induct something.
Oh
No.
no.
They actually inducted the House of Horrors the same week the match happened.
Damn. Because I know he already said that might have won the Gooker by default.
Yeah, but he already inducted the fucking House of Horrors match.
Which, by the way,
Is well earned.
can be yours for $36,000. You just have to clean out the flooding in the basement and fix the septic tank.
Hey.
And everything else wrong with the land.
Everything else.
Hey. Let's give that $36,000 to RD so he can turn it into the WrestleCrap Museum.
So if every one of us donates like $5, I'm sure we can get it done.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of
No, I'm talking about also the WrestleCrap fans too.
yeah.
He's got like fucking, several thousand, fans. I'm sure if every one of us donated $5, he would have it.
Now, what we do with now, of course, he'll need extra money to actually fix it up. Because the public has to go into it.
Blade is a carpenter by trade.
Oh, true. But he's still going to need a couple men on the side to pay.
Oh no shit. That's why we couldn't set it for $100,000.
A good point.
Yeah.
Hey,
Money outfit.
anyway, Payback. Enzo and Amore and Big Cass and the pre-show defeated Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Who the fuck
why?
saw this coming?
Neither of us.
Why?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Especially what happened on Raw later on, but we won't get into this. This has become the new feud that never ends.
Oh, boy.
Anything with the club always seems to be that way.
Now,
Well, I mean, yeah, but there's Bad Club, Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus the Club, and then there's Good Club, John Cena versus AJ Styles.
Yes. I will agree with that.
Okay,
Yes.
because we all did want to see AJ Styles beat up John Cena,
and he did beat up John
did.
Cena.
and to
Twice.
be fair, and those were fantastic matches. I mean, they were so good that Cena couldn't believe that they were that good. So
Yeah.
They were so good, that was supposed to be match of the year instead of Omega versus Okada.
that's
We
still
actually had two match of the years because we had the first one and then we had one for the title that Cena did win, but you gotta admit, those two were just so fucking good to watch.
By the way, I got into another argument. I'll save it for later. Let's go on with Payback.
All right, for some odd reason, all the title matches were on the first half of the show. And wasn't if I remember, the first one was the U.S. title.
Yes, it was.
Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, the winner, and new United States champion, Chris Jericho.
That's
Jericho
bullshit.
joins the SmackDown Live brand.
That's bullshit.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all knew about the Fozzy tour.
We'll
Why?
We'll
And-
get to what happened
It's
afterwards.
what happened later on,
Yes.
but still, but
There's
you
part
have
two to this.
you have to admit that thing he did with the fan later on, that kid with the list of Jericho,
Yeah, that was cool.
That
where he
was.
put KO on it and then signed it. That was hilarious. I mean, Jericho has been this has probably been the best Jericho yet. In all honesty,
Like if there isn't already a chair for a Hall of Fame with Chris Jericho's name on it, I have no idea what's wrong with WWE.
Jericho has been, I mean, fantastic. I mean, I can't. His run from Lionheart to Y2J to whatever it was to now.
The best that what I do.
No, he was the best in the world.
Oh, the best in the world, yeah.
He was the best in the world, and then Punk stole that.
And now it's the List of Jericho era.
And all the list of Jericho. This is the best Jericho yet.
Next gimmick, by the way.
What's
Say
that?
again.
I have it thought up. I got t-shirts. Waiting to be made. I present the cock of Jericho.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh
You
no.
Suck my dick, man.
The Hardy Boys retained against Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Afterwards, Sheamus and Cesaro attacked the Hardys, turning to full-fledged heels.
Thank you. Good move.
Which,
Good move.
yeah, good move. It's gonna be interesting to see how Cesaro does the heel, but I really want to see this.
Well, remember, he started the company as a heel, so...
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Listen, I did not know that at the beginning.
Yeah,
Also,
that's right.
another thing is we did have a bonus that also kind of started the whole thing with Cesaro and Sheamus doing this to the Hardy Boys. Jeff lost a tooth.
Yeah, I mean that was an accident, but still, Jeff lost a tooth. I mean,
But-
tough beans to Jeff. I'm glad he could feel it this time. I mean, the last time he was put in that much pain.
And
But
now
you know.
he's
Good
got
thing,
$1
too.
under his pillow.
Oh, boy.
And maybe
Yeah.
Itchweed will give him $50. You never know.
But
Hey,
here's also a
Magnus
good
Max.
thing about this.
Well, now that it looks like WWE has control of the Broken Heart gimmick, we might see Itch Week one of these days.
I'd like that. I would like to see Itchweed. I'm one of those weird people that would actually like to see Itchweed there, just for shits and giggles.
I would like to see it too. And here's the thing, though, that I find this is good about the broken tooth is that even though with the fight and all that, it's like it feels like they have something to start them as a storyline that can actually pull forward to saying, "You did this and you hurt my brother by breaking his tooth." And I of course, once you actually see his Matt Hardy again, thank you very much for being on Twitter and having that be your second personality showing up. Yes,
Well,
this is.
Well, we got to see what happens on Raw also, but
Yes.
let's just say whatever they're doing with the Hardys right now, I think they're doing it right. It's
Yeah.
a slow build.
You know this. Basically, TNA still has Itchweed under contract.
Oh damn!
Oh, God.
Uh,
I didn't even say nothing yet.
Go say it, then say it.
You know, that's basically what happens with Alberto Del Rio's privates after he gets done fucking Paige.
Oh,
I knew it.
No!
that's a low blow right
No
there.
blow!
That's a
That
low
was
blow
low,
right
but
there.
Again, I was
Matt takes a
expecting this.
penicillin for that, by the way.
Well,
Shit.
after we recover from that body blow, let's talk
Ow.
about the females. Bailey defending the women's championship, Alexa Bliss, and the winner, and for some odd reason, new Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss.
I should have picked Alexa Bliss.
I'm still kicking myself for that.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. You were angry about this. I think he actually told me over Skype.
Yeah,
I know Will
no,
was pissed at me over that.
it was Twitch. I'm sitting here going, "Fuck!" Because I was that close to picking Bliss,
Yes.
I know.
and then you motherfuckers convinced me that Bailey was right.
Because we actually tried to think of common sense. We forgot. Well, we'll find out soon enough how little common sense the Raw team actually,
you know what?
the Raw commentary team actually has.
Here's also
Right,
the other
actually
thing.
has.
Was as a show. Lewis was over at my house and he fell asleep during the whole goddamn pay-per-view.
Oh, here's also the other thing I just totally forgot about. Where was Payback at?
San Jose.
Jose,
Bailey's hometown.
which means
We
Alexa.
totally overlooked that.
Yeah, if we would have thought about that, it's like, yeah, WWE has a way of fucking over the hometown hero.
Yeah, why don't you
Let's
just Bret Hart?
Oh,
or Jim
Yeah.
Ross.
or Tim Ross.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how can
By the
we?
way,
have
there's something we
forgotten
need
what
to
it
talk
was?
about, but there's something we need to talk about now that you mentioned that.
What's that?
I was watching a certain boxing match on Saturday.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I'm assuming you watched this boxing match for free because you didn't want to give him your money.
Actually, no, it was on Showtime. Since
Oh.
I subscribed to Showtime.
Oh, so
All
you
right.
actually you're actually paying his paycheck then?
But guess who was on the fucking program?
Like I said, you're paying his
Mauro
paycheck.
Ranallo. And by the way, I get Showtime for free with Fios.
Oh.
I pay for HBO. But that's beside the point. The point is, this fucking asshole, apparently that WWE payoff cured him of his depression because he was able to make the call for a fucking big boxing fight, but couldn't make WrestleMania because his feelings were hurt. And meanwhile, Jim Ross just lost his wife the week prior and he still went.
Well, I know we're jumping ahead, but
And-
didn't they make the Aiden English's crying bit a small poke at
Yeah, that
Mauro?
was a low blow.
Yeah.
That was a low blow. They should have done that with Byron Saxton. It would have made more sense, but whatever.
Anyway.
Well, that and to me, I'm sitting here going, if you're going to commit to this, WWE, if you're going to commit to this, and you've already heard my opinions about this shit. I'm the guy that gets drowned out from the man up motherfucking pussy chants that I hear in this chat all the time. But if you're gonna do this, WWE, fucking commit to it and make some money with it. Shit.
Yeah.
Make some fucking money with
Hell,
it.
that
Commit to it.
Hey, that's what gave the birth of Mr. McMahon.
Fucking commit to it, man. I think this is a one-off. I honestly think it's going to be a one-off, and it's just going to be bullshit.
Yeah, because
honestly,
there's no way you can make money off this, and I'm pretty sure English wants a decent wrestling career.
particularly since Aiden English has gone from jobbing to tag teams to jobbing in a singles career.
Go ahead,
But
John.
my problem with Ronaldo is this. And I seen it coming that he was faking it. Because
Can't confirm that though.
Because you mean to tell me, because suffering from bipolar depression for many years, I can tell you this. Materialism does not make someone's depression go away. Not even that quickly. You may feel good for a while, but that's about the extent of it. But the fact of the matter that all of us, he was silent, not doing anything for like a month until WWE paid him off, and now all of a sudden he's back to doing everything like nothing ever happened. That to me is just way too suspicious.
That's not actually true.
He's back to doing his commentary. He's back to doing his stupid podcast.
I know he's back to doing his podcast, but he was active long before he got the payoff.
So was it a
Well,
WWE?
according to his Twitter, he said he was back. So I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, yeah, but first of all, the thing about this is, well, if Showtime's the big thing, you're not going to pay attention to Ryzen, which was something that he actually said no to 4 months prior before accepting because something else happened. I don't know what happened with that. Now, he started becoming active again about 3 weeks or so, or 2 to 3 weeks after that. He has had a whole lot of support since the incident. Okay, or well, it's more than just an incident based on certain things that have been talked about. Okay, I don't think it's a simple open and shut case. I get your point, John. I agree. Materialism doesn't change that. It doesn't enter into mental illness. I agree with that. But I don't think he's faking it for what you're thinking of. This is just me. Otherwise, Ryzen would have entered into the equation because I'm sure he had to pay for that fucking ticket to Japan. And in all honesty, I think they would have paid out to get fucking Boss rather than Frank Shamrock. Because Frank Shamrock is terrible.
To be honest with you, I think he did that Ryzen thing out of respect for his friends.
Well, at the same time, I mean, not only does he like the MMA crowd, it's also not just his friends, it's the vibe of Japanese mixed martial arts, which is very different from what's shown here in the United States. And you know, it's
Frank Shamrock is really one of his best friends. He's not going to say no to his best friend, no matter how depressed he is.
That's well, no, he's not going to do that. No. Him and Boss, you know, those are bosom buddies of Morrow's. But I don't think he's faking it. I think there's stuff that's going on that we don't know about.
It seemed like he recovered way too quickly for.
People can bounce back, but people can bounce back. People can do that. Now here's the thing that, like I say, I cannot speak for him. That's the one mistake that a lot of people do is they take that person and insert their personality into the afflicted person and say, this is how I would handle it. Now, I don't know how he handles stuff. I don't know the guy. I know he lives in Simi Valley. That's all I know. He's a Canuck in Cali. He lives right here in Snowflake City, California. Thank you very much. I'm trademarking that. I'm so gonna fucking trademark that. And so, like I say, there's more to this, but people turn around. He could have turned around fairly quickly. Some people don't do that. Some people need to go away from that certain thing. He was off of social media for 2 to 3 weeks before he started responding to the deluge.
Well, because his doctor told him not to.
Yeah, his doctor told him not to. Yeah, certainly.
The doctor would sit there and say, I don't want you on social media.
Lots of psychologists do that, actually. And part of it is to get people away from the thing, at least initially, so that way they can build themselves back up to be able to take that kind of punishment again. Social media is a darling and a
curse.
And a curse at the same time. It's like Castlevania 2. Okay? it's a lot like Castlevania 2.
Oh, God.
There's a reference for you guys. But, you know, it has its ups and downs, and it's very confusing for some people. I've seen people take weeks. I've seen people take 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, months off. You know, I do think personally that the Bye Felicia block parties were a little much. And he does do that a little bit much sometimes, although he's cut down on that a lot as of late.
Instead of saying, hey, let's go tit for tat with this.
Well, the funny thing is he does that. He's not the only one that does that. JBL's been doing that too.
CM Punk, of course.
And Punk does that. Lots of people do that. This is a thing that happens. Now, everybody's going to handle their situation differently. Now, that brings up other questions as to how things are handled in the wrestling business, how they used to be historically, how they are now, and how things will be handled in the future. Particularly with Billy Corgan coming into this, will he handle this like a wrestling company, or will he handle this like a corporation? You know, these are all questions that have to go through people's heads as the situations arise, because different cultures impact the way things are handled. So we don't know what's going to happen. All I know right now is that there was one decision that I made that was really bad, and that was I should have picked Alexa Bliss.
And by the way, at least as long as I can help it, that will be the last time that prick ever gets mentioned on this fucking show.
Well, next to, because remember, we're still going to do the future endeavor episode, so we do have to talk about.
Ronaldo.
So we're still going to talk one final time about Ronaldo, Ronaldo and Simon Gotch.
You put it to rest.
But for now, it's over.
Not enough.
I'll say something to lighten the mood, then we'll continue the episode. Popeye's manager arrested for allegedly dipping chicken in cocaine-based flour to increase business sales.
I read that. That was hilarious. That's why. By the way, I'm hurting my hand pounding on the fucking armrest about this whole Alexa Bliss thing.
Let's see what color this fucking guy is.
Oh,
God, he's not black.
While John gets us in trouble with the NAACP.
NAACP, and I accidentally hurt my arm again on this fucking armrest in a rather odd way of complaining about Alexa Bliss winning. But let me say this about.
It's kind of sad though. It's like every time shit like that happens, I'm always saying to myself, please don't let it be a black person. Please don't let it be a black person.
Jeez. I thought you were talking about Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for a second there.
I don't.
Which to be fair,
at making fun of people. I honestly don't.
But it's too easy.
Okay, thank God. It's a fake story.
Oh.
Thank God.
Go ahead.
Well, let's talk about the real story here.
I need to say something real quick.
Oh God.
You know, on the real, I don't get enjoyment out of making fun of people. I don't. I hate doing it, but you know, if it's got to be done, it's got to be done.
Sure.
Issues like that come up, I'm always saying, you know, it's like every time something negative happens, like stereotypically, like example, something happens at a Popeyes. My first thought is, please don't let it be a black guy. Please don't let it be a black guy. Please don't let it be a black guy. And then when I see it's a black, I'm like, fuck. Like, are you kidding me?
So as for Bayley versus Alexa Bliss, as much as all of us predicted that Bayley would win, I think it's a good move. Alexa, it's actually kind of interesting. It's surprising that Charlotte hasn't gotten the SmackDown title before Bliss got the Raw title, because now Bliss is the first woman to have both branding titles.
Yep.
So that and that shows something. There was something I was reading about how people were kind of mad that Bliss won, and I'm sitting there because there are a few people that think Alexa Bliss is trash. They do, and I'm sitting here going, why? Her beginnings were bad. I've always said that the cheerleader gimmick was terrible.
Oh yeah,
but that's what she was. She was a gymnast and she was a cheerleader, so she knew how to do that. Then she went Mean Girls without being whiny. I mean, she does the tantrum pretty well. And when she gets down and draws out that heel, she's going to go somewhere. WWE started paying attention to her when she fended off What Chance. And mind you, I'm in the minority here. I don't mind me some What Chance. I loved 50 Shades of What that was shown on my Facebook. I wanted to show that to fuck the half the forums that I go to just to irritate people. Because 50 Shades of What is hilarious. I would love to see just 50 pages of what in different colors just to see what would happen. But Bliss was able to fend off the audience in an ad lib that I don't think people realized. And when she fended that off, they just went, this girl's good. She's going to be something. So not only is the Raw title fitting for her, I feel she's only going to get better. There's going to be right now, Charlotte is the total package, but they burned her out right now. They can use her very well on SmackDown, build her back up to championship because, they've got Becky Lynch over there. They got, Naomi as well, but they've got the whatever the hell else they're doing that, which we'll talk about on SmackDown later. But Bliss is the linchpin on the Raw side of things. She's a good heel. She knows what she's doing. And her in-ring work is only going to get better. And I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than Noam Dar's impersonation of Alicia Fox.
Otherwise known as Kevin Dunn's girlfriend.
If you ever want to irritate yourself, listen to Alicia Fox's music. It's on Google Play now.
Listen to her promos. Never mind her music.
No, her promos you can drown out because it's just like at least there's someone else that talks better than her. But oh gosh, her music is terrible.
It's just like my godmother used to say. She's a loud, obnoxious black bitch.
Oh gosh.
That's literally her gimmick.
Oh.
This explains a lot about you, John. Clearly your influences are well picked.
I'm gonna get mildly.
Long Island for a while.
Hey, at least you're not the motherfucker locked in the AMA like, that would be a brutal tag team finisher if it was survivable. Which essentially is a backstabber and axe kick combination.
So what was the next? Well, oh no, wait. There's one other title match that we had.
Yeah, I was about to say it.
Out of order, but yeah.
Neville defending against Austin Aries, and the winner is Austin Aries by disqualification.
So Neville keeps the title.
So Neville remains the Cruiserweight Champion.
How many people like that finish?
None.
None.
No. I was like, as soon as I saw the ref pull, I was like, really?
Remember that old saying, John, about how great matches always have shitty finishes?
The WrestleMania match was much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I thought it was better than what a lot of people were predicting. That TJ Perkins was going to come in.
Oh, by the way, apparently he's called TJP now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Did they give him heel music like Bowser or something now?
Oh, I could just hear that.
Say again?
He still got the same face music.
I could just hear that now. Have TJP come out to fucking Bowser's music.
No.
I was actually thinking dun 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 dun.
No, if you're gonna think of Bowser's theme, the one from Mario 64.
Yeah, but that's not 8-bit.
Doesn't matter.
It does because he's being treated as the fucking 8-bit gamer Mega Man 2 music.
Matter.
Yes, it does.
Well, it doesn't matter because you got people that can make 8-bit versions of wrestlers' theme musics. I'm sure they can make an 8-bit of that.
Well, yes, but Super Mario 64 is so iconic in that way that it doesn't work.
Yeah, but give me a second. I had a joke going, but that played. And 3, 2, 1.
What? What happened?
And there you go.
What the fuck is that?
Bowser's theme from Super Mario 3D Land in 8-bit.
Oh,
There we go.
Anyway, we had
Nakamura's music in 8-bit, so you know.
they already did Nakamura's music in 8-bit.
Yeah, they did. I gotta download that.
I gotta listen to it.
Now you may be wondering, but wait, wasn't that all the title matches? Aren't we missing quite a few? Yeah, because all the title matches, like I said, were in the first half of the show. The rest of the show was straight up the regular matches. Like,
Also, one was missing. One title was missing from this show.
oh yeah, have we updated the missing reports on the Universal title?
Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. But first, here's all you need to know about the House of Horrors match.
Well, actually, before we get to hell, let's get to at least one decent match. Seth Rollins defeated Samoa Joe.
Hey, there were two decent matches. Let's be honest here.
True, but I'm saving the other one because the other one's the actual main event.
Yeah. And I love the finish for this. I gotta say, it made Joe look good, and while Seth did win, it was a desperate effort to keep it going. It'll keep the feud going, as I'm sure we'll see on Raw. But Joe gets locked on the ground while he's stuck in the coquina clutch. While Rollins is still stuck in the coquina clutch, he's able to keep him on the ground, hook the leg, 1, 2, 3. He's able to get out. He's holding the throat. Holy crap! He's selling the throat.
Yeah, really.
You
At
have
first,
to.
the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't Joe let go? And then when I saw the replay of Rollins hooking the leg, I was like, oh, that's what happened.
Good finish. Good
Yeah.
finish. And of course, it was a good match between two very good wrestlers. I'm looking forward to what they do in the future.
Also, it was really funny that just a little preamble that they said that Seth Rollins in a video interview on YouTube, he said that I want to hear from you guys. They said they've only fought once in ROH.
I don't know if they fought once in ROH.
Obviously, they fought once in NXT, didn't they?
No.
No.
No, they've never. No, they were way different. No, Joe
Their
came
times
in
were
way
different.
later.
Oh, right. Anyway, this was a good match, and can't wait to see the next round. Hopefully, with a title on the line.
That would actually be great to watch.
Speaking of, we did have the WWE Champion on the show. And what's obviously the WrestleCrap match of the day. And I'm not even joking, because this match is actually, like John said, this match has been, most of the time when R.D. Reynolds from WrestleCrap inducts a match, it usually goes on like a couple of months or years down the line. There's usually a waiting period. This match got inducted right away. In fact, I'm actually going to add that to our list of matches we are going to riff. It's going to take
what the House of Horrors match was.
Go ahead, please. Because
Take it away.
Now, hold on a second. Just close your eyes and imagine this, okay, as I speak. All right. Imagine Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right.
Okay.
The original, not the remakes.
Yes.
You know, the rooms with the meat hook, with the meat hooks and the bodies hanging off of them, and the meat freezer with the chicken feathers and the bones and shit, and the corpses. Now imagine a grade school version of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not done yet. Without all the scary stuff, without the bones, without the corpses, without the meat hooks, but instead of those meat hooks and corpses, a bunch of electrical wire and dolls you can buy at the thrift store, painted up in various shades of black, with various patterns to appear scary.
Don't forget the wooden pagan symbol in the room.
And then a bunch of mood lighting that you can buy out of a catalog for $29.99. One of those laser lights. And then imagine a bunch of spider webs you can get from Party City strewn around the house. And that's basically what the House of Horrors match was.
Don't forget the haunted tractor.
And also the fact that just they didn't do anything to the outside of the house to make it look intimidating at all. All they did was literally light the house in blue, and then when Bray left, they lit the house in red.
Now, there is actually rules for some odd reason to this match. Both
There were?
competitors start in the House of Horrors.
How?
In the house, yeah.
It's how the match is supposed to go, not the actual rules. This is basically just a no holds barred match.
Yeah, it's
is
a
all
no
this
holds
is.
barred match that starts inside the House of Horrors. Whatever competitor could go outside, go to the limousine, gets driven back to the arena. So the match is actually while we're reviewing it straight away as one match, it actually got broken up in between two different matches in the pay-per-view. Returns to the arena, goes back into the ring, and the match has to end by pinfall, disqualification, or
pinfall submission,
or forfeit. As in the opponent could not return to the arena in time before.
And by the way,
10 count.
I should also stress, and this person actually followed me on Twitter. There's actually a Twitter handle called Bray Wyatt Fridge. And remember, the WWE champion was pinned twice that night. He was pinned by Bray Wyatt at the end of the match, and in the house he was pinned by the refrigerator.
Which, if he were
Technically,
indeed,
we should have a triple threat match with Bray Wyatt in the refrigerator against Randy Orton.
John, you got to understand that's a viable match in DDT. In fact, inanimate objects have won title belts.
I know.
In DDT.
That's the point.
Including 2 ladders and a poster. So I would not be surprised.
That was my point.
I wouldn't be surprised if the fucking. I got to say this though. Why do I get the feeling that this is a Bucky Beaver production?
Because it is.
Yep.
And
Why haven't they fired this idiot yet?
And because you can tell that they used the WWE Studios equipment to film this segment.
Yeah,
because it looks third rate.
Yeah.
Now, Will, you said on Facebook that you had a new appreciation for Tag Team Apocalypto evidence.
Yes. Because of this match, I take back everything I said about Total Nonstop Deletion being utter shit. I take back everything about Total Tag Team Apocalypto. I will say, what the hell did I just watch? But I take back everything I said about that entire event. Total Nonstop Deletion is a legitimate wrestling show. Thanks to this fucking match.
But can you imagine the fucking meeting in that creative area?
There was no meeting. They didn't think of the match in like 4 hours to the show start.
Well, apparently it was the house part was pre-taped on Monday
in Missouri
before, when they were in Kansas City for Raw. So
right.
Okay, so there was a production meeting. Not one person.
That production meeting though. You know, we want something scary. Think of something scary. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre's scary. Yeah, that's good. But we need to tone down for the little kids.
No. This is a WWE production. They can't think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're gonna think See No Evil.
All right.
I never even seen that movie.
Exactly.
Well, here's something scary that we haven't thought about. They gave Randy Orton to wear pants.
That was hilarious.
By the way, who the fuck shows up to somebody's house without a shirt on?
Some guy's dirty ass shirt at that.
Who the fuck shows up at somebody's house? It shows up at somebody's house in the middle of nowhere without a shirt on in a fucking limo.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to break the door down.
No offense. I'm going to.
The driver, oh yeah, stay here.
If any of us ever got a limousine, would you drive around your own neighborhoods and tell a driver to stay there?
And then at the end of the fucking house segment, Bray Wyatt gets the fucking limo.
And tells the driver to drive it back to the arena.
That limo driver I would rather take my chances and take a passenger into Elizabethport. Sure, my car may be on bricks after I get out of the convenience store, but at least I'm not dead.
Shit.
At least not until somebody points a gun at my head and tells me to get buck naked and tells me to hand over my watch.
Is there things we should know about John?
Well, I got mugged at the port a couple times.
Jeez.
Their fucking head. I basically blacked out both times, and one time this dude's head was mashed up against the fucking hubcap, and the other time mashed up against this curb. I don't know how that happened.
So Bray Wyatt wins the House of Horror match thanks to Rajan Singh and not the Singh brothers. I was about to say, and Jinder Mahal, not Rajan. Who still has the WWE title belt, by the way. Yeah, who stole it on SmackDown last week. We didn't mention that because we didn't think it was important. Apparently it is.
I think we mentioned it last week on the show.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And we probably did in passing.
So you don't remember?
Like I said, like Will...
Hey, I got WWE title. Now get in sports car.
We probably did mention it in passing.
Oh, God.
So Bray Wyatt has just pinned the WWE champion, and he can't get his title rematch because they're on different shows. Yay! And he can't get a Universal title shot because that title is missing.
Yep.
So let's get to the main event of the evening: Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. And for some odd reason, the creative team got a collective brain this time, because the winner of that match was Braun Strowman by beating the dog shit out of Roman Reigns.
But we'll sit here talking about Alexa Bliss. I'm mad I didn't get to pick Braun.
Remember, hey, you're the one who picked Reigns.
Remember, I wanted Braun to win, but knowing creative, that's why I picked Roman.
That's why you picked, yeah.
And you know what? We would have been we would have agreed with you on that, but we just wanted to pick Strowman just because let's just see if they actually attempt to do it. And guess what? They did. And we're like, you're kidding me.
I'm fucking stunned.
Same here.
And the funny thing about this is that this is the only way that it would have worked, because like I said, Roman wasn't going to lose anything bad except for that photograph that was put out by. I said photograph, that picture that was put out by fucking Titus. but remember, Roman went into this kayfabe injured.
Yeah.
So he can lose to this Strowman without any issues.
By the way,
it doesn't make him look.
Someone really needs to ask Roman how all these blood pellets keep tasting. He's bitten into enough of them in his whole fucking career.
They probably taste like rubber unless they've changed the materials. Because it used to be condoms. Now it's. Ugh. Now the question. Well, actually, no, it didn't. I don't think it turned brown, so that might not have actually been blood. But it would have been interesting if he had actually used his own blood. But yeah, this is just.
It could. He could commit seppuku.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean that was that was the old trick that they would do. What they would do is they would draw out your own blood, and then you put it in a condom, and then you tie it off, and then you put it in a bucket of. Is it cold water or warm water? I think it's cold water. Is it ice cold water?
I
forget what it was, but you want to make sure that it doesn't clot. And then as part of the thing, in fact, you could kind of, I don't know if you could see it, but you could see at one point, it's like all right, you're going to take this. The ref is going to go check on him and then shoves the damn thing in his mouth, I'm sure.
Here it is. I found video of it.
Well, we can't play it on the show because none of us have sync play up yet.
But it's actually it's a Twitter video that's on a webpage right here. And I just quickly looked it up, and looking back on this video, it's like you can really see it within 10 seconds. You see them happening. It's like, yep.
Yeah. Well, obviously he's not actually bleeding from his insides and coughing up blood. That's obvious.
Yeah.
The question is, how was the effect done? I mean, it says being handled the blood capsule, but what was in the blood capsule? Was it just red food coloring, or was it actual blood? Because sometimes it was food coloring, sometimes it was actual blood. Yeah, I mean that was that was shit. So, but I mean,
Of course it was. Now, the good thing is that at least they were trying to show that he was injured. Granted, how that ended up happening with Braun Strowman, like throwing this. I'll be honest, when I saw him drop the steel steps, again, they're not like supposed to be that bad. When you see him, like, for as big as he is, landing him straight on his gut like that, even with that finish, you gotta think, ooh, that's gonna hurt for a bit. You have to admit that looked like you would be feeling that in the morning.
And I think this goes back kind of to the points that we've made on this podcast before. Roman really isn't that bad.
No.
And I think he was in the right match with the right person in a match that was absolutely brutal in the right ways, with moves that actually meant something. And they're both supposed to be big, tough individuals. Now, they did overdo the Superman punches and the fucking spears. And that's something I've never liked about him. But it does show that Roman is tough. I mean, after all, after Payback, he didn't want to get on the fucking stretcher. I think that's a point to be kept. Mm-hmm. And Strowman looked fantastic over this as well. So,
let's not forget the ambulance scene. I'm not finished with you yet. Bam!
Oh yeah, he tried to kill him after that again.
Tried to kill him after that again.
Yep, he tried to kill that and ran into the door of the ambulance. But guess what? Also, that means it's going to happen at the next pay-per-view.
Ambulance
match.
Yep, we're going to see an ambulance match. Add Extreme Rules.
And then maybe, just maybe, we'll see Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar.
Hey.
Let's hope it is Let's hope it is Braun Strowman, because honestly, we've seen enough of Roman fighting against Brock Lesnar, attempting to get the title. I want to see Braun Strowman, because let's be honest, you look at Braun Strowman and think he looks like he could actually contend for that against Brock Lesnar.
Hold on a minute. You know what this is going to be?
What?
You know what this is going to be? This is going to be the match of the brick hard meats.
The brick hard meat? Oh.
The brick hard meats. Or the blast thick necks. Or the Dirk hard pecs.
Oh, boy.
Or the Bob Johnson's no weight. That's what it's going to be. But, I mean, it's going to be Suplex City versus... And that's actually a match I'd be interested to watch.
Can Brock Lesnar suplex a mountain?
It would be literally what I call the Vince McMahon masturbation match.
It would be, John. I
Vince
absolutely
McMahon
agree.
Goes into the fucking gorilla position with a bottle of hand lotion and a box of Kleenex.
Just leave me alone, pal. I'll be seeing this one here.
Oh, I can imagine. He has to go to a separate room, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he's like still wearing the headset, like, you know, talking to the people, and he's telling them how to announce the match, and they're like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Shut up and do the match."
That's probably why Michael Cole wants to do backstage work, so he can get off the headset.
Well,
yeah,
remember,
I mean,
according to Bruce Pritchard, the announcers wear black because they have to piss themselves.
Shit.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the gorilla position is huge these days, so he'd probably clear that shit out.
So
anyway,
that was Payback. Other than the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, that was the House of Horrors. It was alright.
It wasn't a bad pay-per-view. Honestly, it was honestly not a bad pay-per-view. There was one shitty match that threw off the whole vibe.
For anyone that says one match can't kill a pay-per-view, watch this again.
Well, one match can't kill a can kill a pay-per-view, but the next pay-per-view will have a name that kills it.
Oh yeah, because they are also advertising Shinsuke Nakamura will have his WWE in-ring debut at WWE. Was it Backlash?
That's a
Backlash.
backlash. I'm not talking about backlash. That's a pay-per-view that matters.
Ah. Yes.
Okay. Although now they're calling him the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura for some bizarre reason.
Oh, yeah. I saw
But-
that, sir.
But which Plumpy has issues with. But no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a name that can wreck a pay-per-view.
Oh God! Why did they do this?
Goodness
WWE,
gracious!
Great balls of fire!
Which is also what happens with Alberto's privates after he gets done fucking kids.
Oh, you know what the funniest thing is?
Now that we've run that joke into the ground,
And
You know what's
buried
actually
it.
funny? I just saw an interview with AJ Styles that he actually did not know about the pay-per-view being called Great Balls of Fire. And you know what I actually said? Is there going to be a stipulation match with pianos?
That will make it interesting.
I'd watch it. I'd watch a fight with pianos and use that as the main reason to fight.
Who in creative sat down, and the Raw creative team sat down and looked and went, you know, let's name our pay-per-view after that song. What's gonna be the one after that? King of Rock, Walk This Way,
but why do I get
Girl?
the feeling?
Back the knife.
Why do I get the feeling that this is a combination effort between fucking Kevin Dunn and Terry Taylor?
What, to come up with the worst sounding pay-per-view of all time?
Because one is a cock and one sucks cock.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
And that's going to be one of the pay-per-views Brock Lesnar is actually going to work.
Yeah. But here's also the other thing that's also funny about that whole thing. What's the point? What's going to be the gimmick?
Flaming balls?
I mean, Kane's too busy. I mean, Glenn Jacobs too busy wearing red noses.
I'm like, he's too busy trying to become on a political campaign.
Pay-per-view, they can bring back Lita and have her have sex with half the locker room.
God.
Oh gosh.
We don't want the epidemic that was a few years. That was what was it, 10 years ago when almost every main eventer was. When almost every main eventer was on the injured list.
I used to call her Fire Crutch.
I didn't know you knew Kelly Kelly.
Well, yeah, bring her back too.
Hey, that might be
They're thinking about it.
that might be her return match.
Oh, God.
Hey, can you imagine a backstage segment? You see Kelly Kelly walking out of a locker room, and fucking Austin Aries walking out of the locker room holding his dick. What? Why does it hurt so bad? And then all of a sudden you see the logo for the pay-per-view slap over him like a fucking Grindhouse movie.
Jeez.
Oh jeez. And next year he walks out with his music playing, holding a bag of ice.
Yeah.
And he puts the bag of ice on the edge of the ring.
And then the whole match, he keeps stopping to scratch his dick.
and cool it down with the ice as much as possible.
I'm
It's
trying
like,
to picture Neville watching all of this while he's trying to fight Aries.
I'm sorry, Cole. I'm having a problem with my penis.
You do realize that Joey Ryan could probably steal this angle at a moment's notice, right? Don't give him ideas.
Joey-
kidding.
Like, Joey Ryan's so far down there, he actually might listen to this. Don't give him any ideas.
Hey, let's see if he actually does make it work.
Let's do the dick spot. Why am I itching? You've been holding on to Candice LeRae for too long.
Oh.
Which would suck for Johnny, but you know, hey, I hope those two are good together, man.
So
Hope those two are doing well, like Roddy and Marina. Anyway,
I know of two interesting things from this week in wrestling, and neither of them are Raw. So, can anyone update me on that?
actually, the Raw thing, the only thing on Raw that was interesting was the coronation ceremony of Alexa Bliss. because she has like this pedestal as John Silva coughs up like crazy.
I know she ran down all the divas except for Nia Jax.
Except for Nia Jax.
She just looked at her as like, you're right.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah,
good.
She knows that she kick her ass, and it's
And
like
then and she just goes off on Bailey, and Bailey just tackles her. And I think that's a good way to showcase Bailey's side, Bailey's vicious side. That was probably the best part, other than what Finn Balor versus somebody. Didn't Finn Balor face
Finn Balor versus
Seth Rollins and
for
The Miz.
And The Miz for the number one contender. And the winner was The Miz, thanks to Bray Wyatt.
And Samoa Joe.
And Samoa Joe. What Joe? So wait, let me guess. Joe takes out Rollins. And I know that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wyatt takes out Balor.
Right. And I think this is a good thing. I do think it's a good thing. Keep first of all, for some bizarre reason, I don't know why, backstage is not like Dean Ambrose.
Because I think he's lazy for some reason, even though he had
lazy, even though he's probably one of the most active people in the roster.
Even though he essentially held SmackDown on his back until he got AJ Styles ready.
So, and to be fair, I think he's a good I think he's a decent world champion. Now, The Miz as an intercontinental champion again, I think would work, and plus would help build other people. The Miz is doing well as a heel right now. We don't like his work, and I still don't like his work. But
when The Miz has the belt, he's called the Intercontinental Champion.
And there you go. Oh, but this can lead to other feuds that are being built up. So that works in that regard. Plus, honestly, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. No, not Bray Wyatt. And Seth Rollins, they need to be in the world title picture. They don't need to be in the Intercontinental title picture. With that said, Balor and Seth have their own respective feuds. You've got Seth Rollins still going at it with Samoa Joe. That's going to be far more interesting than anything that The Miz is involved in. You got Finn Balor starting up something against Bray Wyatt. That's going to be far more interesting.
The House of Horrors.
Well,
it's not that hard. Anything can be better than the House of Horrors.
Look, one above the House of Horrors, in all honesty, is apparently whatever disease Kelly has. So look, guys, they're in better positions. The Miz is there to grab the title to help build other people up. And while Dean Ambrose is good in that position too, the back office doesn't like him. The office doesn't like him at the moment. I can see they're going to take the title off of him, and the Miz will hold the title for a while, and they'll build up more Intercontinental mid-card champions on Raw. That's fine.
But here's the question that has to be asked: who?
Well, that's the thing. That's why the Miz has to be there. Because anybody that goes against the Miz will automatically be liked. So it's just a matter of,
unless it's John Cena or Nikki Bella.
Yeah, well, it's John Cena, Nikki Bella. What do you expect?
It's the reverse.
The only time the Miz is actually liked in a ring is against John Cena, Nikki Bella. The only time they'll let him get away with doing the yes kicks and they'll actually say yes is against John Cena and Nikki Bella.
Oh, God. Anything you want to say, John, or should we continue?
Continue.
Yeah.
So we're on to SmackDown, and the notable thing I was talking about was there was a U.S. title rematch. And the winner, and new United States champion again, Kevin Owens.
Just 2 days later.
Now, here's the thing about this.
So it was a waste.
It was a waste. It was a waste. It was honestly a waste. They could have done the same thing at the pay-per-view, but I guess Jericho wanted it this particular way, You notice how he got taken out by a DDT on the floor?
Yeah, plus I thought
Oh,
he
yeah.
got checked out by the chair neck turnbuckle thing.
Well, the chair was there too, but he was also taken out by a DDT on the floor. Guess what it was the 30th anniversary of?
The birth of the DDT.
No, but Jake the Snake Roberts taking out. He took out somebody. I think
Steamboat?
it was Rick Steamboat with the DDT, and that's how Steamboat got written off of television.
Ah,
That's the way Jericho wanted to go out, apparently. At least so we could go on tour. Hopefully he comes back in the next couple of months. But I gotta say, I'm surprised Kevin Owens is not up John Silva's alley.
What do you mean?
Do you like the gimmick that he's doing? Because I love it. I think it's great.
Oh, that.
The face of America is a Canadian.
Well,
Just
it's a
think
better
about-
face than the one we have.
See, the face of America is a Canadian. Isn't that
oh,
great?
boy.
That's hilarious.
Let's make
A
a
French
let's-
Canadian.
Kind of ripped that off of Rusev.
Hey,
Well, yeah.
Hey, the French have their own problems. It's called Marine Le Pen, the female Donald Trump.
But they're seeing that she's not. They think she's not going to win. So
Hey, no one thought Trump was going to win. No one thought
Yeah.
Brexit was going
Well,
to happen.
because Hillary ran her campaign like an elitist bitch.
I'm about to say, no one thought Trump was going to win. No one thought Brexit was going to happen. Never say never until the 7th, at least. But anyway, continue.
No one ever
So-
thought Pookie would ever get a job. Get
yeah.
off Section 8.
But oh gosh, what was shit? That was funny. I like how he's got the face of the Kevin Owens is going to own that shit, and I'm going to love that. So keep it up. I'm going to love booing him at the shows if I ever go see any of the shows.
Well, right now they're in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Taking pictures
the
that
way-
they shouldn't be taking.
By the way, can we take a bet on who's going to get suspended, fired, injured,
Are we already starting the European pool?
Because we already know who's already going to get heat, and that's Roman and Strong. That picture.
It was actually Titus that actually got the heat for it, apparently.
Oh, there you go. That's victim number 1 of the European tour.
I was going to say, yeah, Roman and Braun are going to get a little bit of heat. They're already off television, so you can't really punish them by taking them off television because they're supposed to be nursing kayfabe injuries. But Titus is going to be the Triple H in this particular
Well,
issue.
we're talking about fictional injuries. I'm surprised Michael Cole never made any mention of anal bleeding.
Anyway, NXT,
well,
we did have one
no.
NXT note, and that was
He is in better shape these days.
there was a triple threat match to determine who will be Asuka's next victim. But Asuka intervened, so there looked like there's not going to be a victim, except William Regal said that no, it's just going to be a straight up fatal 4-way. Asuka versus Nikki Cross,
Ruby Riott.
and Ember Moon.
However, at that particular pay-per-view, that may be the pay-per-view that Ember Moon got injured at. Or not that pay-per-view, that particular
The
taping.
show.
That particular taping is that she might have gotten injured at that one. Now, we all know that right now we're doing the kayfabe injury talk. We're talking about kayfabe injuries, and some people are speculating that the injury was faked. But then she did walk around with a sling, so it might be real. Now, NXT Chicago's not happening for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the same week as Backlash.
Is it Backlash? It's not going to be until SummerSlam?
No, Chicago is actually going to be the Saturday before Backlash.
Well,
It's
fuck me in the goat ass.
You actually get 2 shows for the price of one. That's actually going to be, well, entertaining. To say the least.
Fuck me in the goat ass. Okay. So yeah, there we go. I guess we only have 3 matches set up for that right now.
We still got what, 2 weeks?
Still got 2 weeks, and I'm looking at the other two matches. One I'm interested in. The other one is like, what?
What's the other one?
Okay, so the first match is the NXT Championship match, and then Bobby Roode versus Kenta. And I'm actually interested to see how that match goes because Itami has had a championship run coming. They were going to give him the title earlier, I think, and he's been getting as injured as much as Kobashi was back in the day. So next, I swear he's going to get called up to WWE and then he's going to disappear for a while because he's had cancer.
Oh, jeez.
And that, I mean, that sucks because that's what happened to Kobashi. He was out for nearly a year because of that, over a year because of that. But Itami, going up against Bobby Roode, I think is a good pairing. However, we all know about the feud that never ends.
Yeah.
And once again, we have another match between the NXT Tag Team Champions of the authors of Why the Fuck Are We Doing This Match Again? Versus DIY in a ladder match for the NXT Championship.
Haven't the DIY got whooped enough? Can't they just get called up to SmackDown already?
Please. We need them on SmackDown.
Oh my
Actually,
god.
Okay, before we continue, which brand needs the tag team more?
Well, Raw just got the revival, so if you want to balance it out, then send DIY to SmackDown.
Oh, they
However-
got the 2 weeks, but yeah, they got the revival.
Yeah, there was right there.
That would be a match. I just thought about it.
I'm just waiting for Revival versus Club once they're healthy again.
Well, yeah, but I just thought of it.
What?
Revival versus the Hardys.
Ooh.
How many people are going to get a boner for that?
Hurry up, summer already.
Yes. Ooh.
So yeah, so we don't care
SummerSlam.
about the tag match. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that the Ember Moon thing was something that threw me off because I heard she got injured on that particular show.
I'm actually going to go do some research on this because if it actually is they're actually just maintaining that she is wearing a sling and just trying to see if that gets more kayfabe, that's fine in public. Or it's legit. We'll never know.
Well, while he talks about that kind of ends this week in wrestling.
That's really it.
That is really it. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about in terms of kayfabe these days and how it should be handled? Because the fucking Titus incident and injuries and this and that. Should the heels and the baby faces hang out together these days? Should they be allowed to be in the same place? Should they be playing up injuries? What should they be doing? Because even Cornette was like, I could disappear for 3 weeks and no one would be able to find me, even with cameras following me around. What do you guys?
Yeah.
Well, what they did was kind of silly and stupid, but I think the majority of fans realize that this is a show, they're not going to hate each other in real life. With that said, they should probably keep stuff like that off the internet, off the air, off ground. Because remember, Rusev got in trouble when their running plans were leaked with Lana because they had a feud going on with that. And like we said earlier, this is the first time Titus got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, so...
It's the second time he's had his hand caught in the cookie jar. The first time was a very large cookie jar named Vince McMahon.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And they already started, like, Titus being a more manager of freaking Apollo Crews on Raw.
Which is interesting to begin with.
By the way, slight thing as I watch another chop. Oh, that would hurt. Still not the Kobashi chops. Just a thought. How many people would like to see Jay Lethal team up with Xavier Woods again?
Oh, to reunite Lethal Consequences? Sign me up.
I'd watch that.
because Flair even wants to see that. So
What, Flair even wants to see the reunion of Lethal Consequences?
he would like to see him in in WWE. Jay Lethal in WWE.
Well, good luck. He's
He's tied up with ROH
I'm about to
right
say
now.
he's like
He's happy.
soul bound to that Ring of Honor title.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
happy right now. I don't see it happening for at least another 2 years, but
Like he's
But-
soul bound to the Ring of Honor title, and I don't think they're going to bring up the New Day anytime soon.
no. But I could see
No.
him joining the New Day, and have it do something like, say, the Dudleys. Take things seriously now, man. What happened to you, man? Now you used to be this. Da, 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 da. It's a new day again. This time we're gonna fuck you up, shit like that or something like that. But that's another thing for another day. Kayfabe is a big issue these days because, yeah, I agree. In the old days, the business was so protected that people were stabbed and nearly shot. I think some were shot. I don't remember, but there were definitely beatings involved and stabbings involving wrestlers at that point in time because the business was so protected. What's that one example I like to use? When that one wrestler, there was one wrestler that was so hated that when he on the way to the match, he had died from a heart attack. They'd taken him to the hospital. He died. And they announced it in the audience. He was supposed to take on so-and-so, but unfortunately, this particular wrestler has died of a heart attack.
And the crowd went wild, dude.
And the crowd threw babies in the air, as Jim Cornette would say. Yeah, it's a commitment to the character. But still, it's like, whoa. Kayfabe was huge back then, and now it's a little different. Okay, it's not a little different. It's a lot different. Do you think that the business has evolved kayfabe out of the way for the better, for the worse, different?
I'm not sure.
I pose the thought-provoking questions.
Now, that's something that's going to be... That's something only history could tell in the long run.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, we've had about 20 years worth of history since the business was exposed. Has it made it better? Has it made it worse? What factors have made it better?
Right now, we say that...
John's saying something. Say that again.
Look at the booking. It's been worse.
Right now, I'm trying to think... well, that's because they don't do bookers anymore. They do writers. And unfortunately, we could blame the Vince Russo era for that mess. Because remember, back in the day, even when the business was exposed, you had the one guy that was in charge, like a Vince McMahon, and he'd have these long plans set out with guys that actually knew what they were doing, and they was like, okay, we want this to go this, and this. Now you have comedy writers and people who think they know better than everyone else, who's trying to write a show because they want to be on Days of Our Lives in a couple of months. And they don't...
Go ahead.
And they don't realize
At this point, I don't see why you can't just treat the guys as characters on TV. Like a regular TV show. Because that's what it is. It's a TV show. Nobody's going to walk up to Arnold Schwarzenegger and hit him or curse him out because he tried to kill Sarah Connor.
And still have their wrists at the end of the day, but go ahead.
Why can't we just treat the business as a TV show? Yeah, you're not going to tell them how you did it, but, at least people would know by the end of the, show's over, hey, they're regular people.
And I do get that. But the history of the business wasn't like that in the beginning. And it seems like I say, I gave the example earlier. I mean, even during the beginning of the '90s when the business was being exposed, even the main event guy that went into WrestleMania 7, one of the worst matches I'd ever seen in terms of main events. Not the worst match.
Oh, by the
But
way,
it's still-
we're probably going to be doing that Sunday because I got the match recorded.
Okay, that's good. That's
All
good.
right.
I have ideas for that. We can do both. We can do both of those matches if we can.
So that means I have to get a recording of the other one.
No, that's not that hard to find. Sergeant Slaughter had to wear bulletproof vests.
Oh yeah, the WrestleMania, that was such a huge bomb threat.
Oh, this
It
was
the fact that people were going to bomb the stadium; it's that the stadium would bomb.
well, yeah, no shit. The stadium was going to bomb so bad they had to move it to another stadium.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was wearing bulletproof vests to make sure that he had death. Slaughter did have death threats.
I was saying, did he have to move his family to like a hotel because they were getting death threats too, as kids couldn't exactly go to school for a while?
Well, look at the people who actually believe wrestling's real.
But back then,
But back then, there's a lot more people, John.
Yeehaw! I like what you did to the Hulkster.
But remember, like I said, back then, that was a lot more people.
Yeah, now they're all on reality TV making boatloads of cash.
Unfortunately.
sadly, unfortunately, partially and thanks to the Archbishop Talent Barry appealing to that demographic. It's like, what was it that George Carlin said? Watch Jerry Springer. There's some really stupid people on that show.
I'd say
Watch
there's
the
more
people on that show and realize that half of them are stupider than that.
Yeah. I'd say Maury's filled with more stupid people than that.
I thought Maury Povich was the You're Not the Father show.
Yeah,
It's that too.
I saw fucking apparently this fucking dude on these fucking people on Maury Povich the other day. It was a fucking 65-year-old white woman on the show, and she was basically convinced that her 21-year-old black boyfriend was cheating on her with her fucking roommate, who happened to be fucking 23. And it's like, you couldn't even make this shit up.
Well,
Oh, my head hurts for the day.
I think all our heads hurt.
No, you want your head to hurt? You should listen to the story from yesterday.
Uh-oh.
The tales that I had to endure.
Oh,
no.
jeez.
Is this safe to record?
Is this
Somewhat.
wrestling related?
Yeah, somewhat.
Somewhat.
That's great.
So I go out yesterday. You know, because I have things to do. So I decided to go to BJ's first. And just to go in and get one thing takes me a half an hour. And the reason for that is because there's this fucking homie in front of me
Oh no.
that basically has got way more than fucking 8 items in his cart. And instead of, saying, hey, sir, you need to move to another location, they instead decided to shut down the entire line. So I'm waiting there at customer service a half an hour. And then this dumb blonde bitch walks up, who apparently is the manager, tells me to use aisle 12. Well, aisle 12 says cash only. And it said no credit or debit allowed. And you know how certain managers are, thinking that they know everything. Oh yeah, you can use your card, it's okay. Sure enough, the fucking card wouldn't read when I checked out my item. So finally I had to skip in front of everybody to go to the customer service counter, checked out, not even a fucking apology, Not even a hey, I'm sorry. All because a fucking manager couldn't read a sign, which is like a lot of these wrestling marks that talk about Roman and wanting him dead.
There's your wrestling reference, folks.
If that wasn't bad enough to leave the fucking store, I decided to get a bite to eat, so I go to Wendy's. And I'm going to fucking Wendy's. And first of all, I got to deal with this fucking bitch who can't even get my order right.
Oh no. Please don't tell me this turned into Dairy Queen.
Almost did. No, it was worse than Dairy Queen.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You weren't yelling at the poor woman through the drive-through window, were you?
No, but it was worse.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Because as soon as I got my, and by the way, this one manager that finally got my order right was the only white person in that whole staff.
Oh god.
What?
So,
Of course it is.
he left. There's this one employee that came in to work, apparently, wearing a fucking. By the way, coming into work with a sheer t-shirt on that you could see her titties through. Sitting in there eating at the counter where the customers order, by the way. So I take my food, I go to the window at the opposite end of the restaurant, where next to me is a child and his single mother. And in comes these fucking bucks screaming and yelling and nigga this and nigga that and motherfucker this and motherfucker that. Basically acting like animals, talking about how on the phone, talking about how he's gonna whoop somebody's ass if he sees them, and he ain't the nigga to fuck with, you know, this and that and the other thing. And by the way, there's a kid present like two feet away from me. So if I can hear it, you know the kid can hear it. And then they leave, and if that wasn't bad enough, this employee's friends come in. And by the way, the manager went out the fucking side door at this time. So all hell broke loose. She's fucking hooking her friends up with food. I'm going up to the counter to try to get a Frosty because, you know, I want a Frosty before I leave. And I'm sitting there waiting 5 minutes for a goddamn Frosty while this bitch's friend is telling the cooks in the back to hook her up. Whatever the fuck that means. I'm guessing it means getting free shit. And basically this fucking black bitch tells the white customer in front of me, this old white guy, "Oh, I'll be with you in a minute, sir." And she sits there fucking chatting it up with her friend. And I get so disgusted I leave. Because if she's gonna have an attitude with this fucking guy, I got no chance in hell. And that's another wrestling reference right there.
Oh, jeez.
As if it wasn't bad enough, I got 3 and 4 going on the way to the house. So
you got 3 and 4 wrestling references on the way to the house.
Fucking my aunt does the driving because I don't. And we're driving a pickup truck, by the way. Like the white pickup truck that Dusty got his arm broken in. But yeah. I almost hit this fucking guy because apparently, you know, niggers are too stupid to read the fucking caution sign that says "Don't walk."
Fuck.
It says "Don't walk." Look, I'm a heel on this show.
I know you're the heel. You can.
By the way, this really happened. I ain't making this shit up, but I'm milking this for all it's worth. Fucking. All he does is put up his fucking hand because that's really going to prevent you from getting hit by a car. So kids, the next time you're crossing the street, you don't want to get hit by a car, just hold your hand up. Apparently that fucking works. And then right around the corner of my house, we almost hit this other fucking idiot who belongs on the list of Jericho.
Oh,
run him over, man.
Will you stop?
This fucking guy's wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt and we almost run his ass over.
Oh, that would have been on the front page of the news.
Oh, is this in the middle of the night?
No, during the day, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Jeez.
And then finally, and by the way, this is a couple miles, like about a mile back. I forgot to mention this lovely tale. fucking this garbage truck is basically holding up traffic just so the fucking guy that actually operates the truck can go out and speak to his homegirl and pick up what appears to be drugs in exchange for cash.
What appears to be drugs.
And then going back into his vehicle, and then all of a sudden the traffic moving again. But the fact that a garbage man held up traffic to buy drugs by Magnolia Avenue.
Could have been groceries.
No, it was drugs. Unless he was buying the Hulkster's Python packs. And looking at this scrawny little fuck, I doubt it. And last I checked, a crack hoe doesn't carry Python packs.
God.
And then finally,
it's still not over.
It's still going.
Finally, we go to my neighbor's house.
What are you?
Not nigger's house.
We heard you. We heard you.
Just making sure. So we go over there, and he shows us something on the security camera from the other night.
Oh, God.
Come to find out, a crack hoe took her John into his backyard and had sex there. And I'm telling you, she was going down on him, sucking his dick. He was fucking her in the ass.
I mean, what? How can you respond to that? Was the show any good? I mean,
I'm just gonna say this.
Was it at least better than Hogan and what's it?
I like people of every creed. But I've lived in this neighborhood long enough to know there's black people and then there's niggers.
And
Oh,
Why
jeez.
I hate niggers? I just gave you 2 hours worth spanning the globe of why I hate them.
And this is why this show doesn't get monetized.
Why I hope.
this is probably the benchmark YouTube uses to see which shows that get monetized and which ones doesn't. I'm still surprised why I upload the videos. The monetization logo is still there. It's not just a middle finger by YouTube.
And by the way,
So technically, I can still monetize these episodes.
this is also why I hope, like I said earlier, that when I read an article like that Popeyes manager that turned out to be fake, I hope to God it's not a black person.
Oh,
Because the last fucking thing that I really want to do in this world is put down someone else. You know what I mean? I want people to succeed, but it seems like that doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
I mean, in the neighborhood, it's more people going down than getting up.
going down.
Look, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. My vocabulary is in the best.
Mind you, this is what we usually talk about after the show, so you're getting like a special.
Yeah.
John just decided to add it. See, I mean, he could have said that he decided to take the better step of valor, better point of valor, and not yell like Jim Cornette to the Dairy Queen person. He could have said that he didn't order the Wendy's triple, and he could have said that Chris Jericho wasn't egging him on during the time. So,
But why should I yell at this fucking bitch for not getting my order right when she has a whole bunch of apes that come in and harass her? I'm not making her job any better.
This is true. There was nobody in the Dairy Queen well, except for Candido and Tammy.
And I'm sure if Jim Cornette saw one of these bucks, he'd probably run and go hide. He'd probably hide under Stacy's belly fat.
Oh God!
Oh God!
Oh jeez.
By the way, this is also your weekly reminder that Stacy Cornette is a fat bitch.
But not as big as a bitch as the mother from Daddy 05. Heyo.
Yep.
And I don't mean the birth mother. I mean the stepmother.
Oh God! That.
Well, that was an interesting detour.
Well, and I think that kind of ends the show.
Pretty much. So for Will, For me, for Reed, for Lou, who's probably sleeping and is probably gonna listen to this and wonder what the fuck happened when I'm not on the show. And for John, see you guys next week. I'm gonna have a lost scotch.
Before we go, those assholes that are still jerking off over Omega Okada and the fact that there's going to be a second match coming up soon at No Japan. Six-star matches don't mean shit these days. I just watched a match between two of the masters of Japanese wrestling, and the guy who won that match was in 23 5-star matches. Omega ain't got nothing on Kenta Kobashi, and that's what's really happening in Japanese wrestling.
By the way, you need to also add "fuck the Bucks," "fuck that owl," and
Yeah,
never fight
that's kind of standard,
Yeah,
though.
fuck the Bucks, fuck the Owl.
and never
the
fight
writers.
Spirit Air.
Yeah, we're still recording. Anyway, fuck the Bucks, fuck the Owl. John, I can't wait to hear what you and Lou's going to do to that Omega Okada match.
Oh, I can't wait.
I am looking forward to that.
Say again? Anyway,
Gosh, fuck.
and good night, everyone.
Good night.